Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to episode 40 of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Executive Editor of Total Retail. Today I'm joined by Marshal Downey, Director of Direct Marketing at Build.com, an online retailer of home improvement products. We're going to be discussing how Build.com is using a new intelligent fulfillment platform to help differentiate itself from its competitors. Thanks for joining me, Marshal.
Thanks for having me.
So my first question is, prior to working with Convey and its intelligent fulfillment platform, what were some of the friction points of the delivery experience that you were hearing from Build.com's customers?
I think it's probably just the fact that our delivery, carrier selection, all that kind of stuff was all over the board. So Build.com is a dropship company. We have over 400 warehouses that fulfill orders for us, and we don't actually maintain the inventory personnel for any of them. So what that means is we have, routing guides that we use or that we expect the warehouses to reference when they're picking carriers to do order deliveries. But those same people that are referencing our routing guides are referencing other dropship companies' routing guides, right? So they're not really incentivized at all to make sure that they're picking the best carrier for our customer experience, just by the nature of how the dropship relationship works and all the other clients that these warehouses are serving. So what's really nice about Convey and its intelligent fulfillment platform is it takes the thinking out, right? The warehouse guy doesn't have to load our routing guide book. Look at the size of the package, the weight of the package, where it's going, and how soon it needs to be there, and then use really any critical thinking whatsoever. Their platform just spits out the correct answer after doing all the analysis of all the various data points, and that results in a cleaner and just overall better experience for our customers.
Yeah, and you identified kind of the problem previously. Now that you have started working with Convey, how has the customer delivery experience been improved? Is there maybe an example or two that you might be able to cite?
Yeah, one thing that we just uncovered recently that we didn't really set out to solve for, but it's just been a nature of the platform adapting is much less deliveries that are delivered damaged or need to be returned due to the product not arriving in the state that it should. Mm-hmm. Typically for us, these are large products that are delivered via freight. It's usually cheaper for us to just field scrape it and send the customer out another one. But by shifting the carriers that we're using for these different orders, we're noticing that they're arriving more intact as they should, and we're not having to bear the burden of that cost again to make it right for the customer.
Another benefit is kind of internally some of the specific learnings that you've realized or you've come to see from this relationship with Convey. Can you talk about that as far as identifying the right partner for delivery with your products?
Yeah, sure. So, being a dropship-only company and selling a lot of freight products, we have a lot of delivery partners, especially regional and smaller delivery partners that may be the best fit for a very specific, destination or package, but aren't the best all the time. And that was opportunity that we were really leaving on the table before we had worked with Convey and the intelligent fulfillment platform. But just purely from a cost-saving standpoint, intelligently routing the shipping and carrier decisioning through the Convey platform, saving us about $16 per shipment, which is just a direct profit injection to the bottom line of the margin that we get for that order. And it's not really shifting it from people that we weren't working to before to people we are now. It's just changing the nature of who gets selected when based on the availability that they have. But it's a very real dollar savings that we experience.
Yeah, pretty impressive and powerful. You mentioned some of the challenges with a company like Build that's shipping, larger items, sinks, bathtubs, toilets, those types of products. You want to just kind of hit on a couple of those challenges, and then also I'm interested about returns. How does Build go about facilitating returns of these larger items?
Yeah, sure. So, you hit the nail on the head. We sell a lot of very large products, and the other key piece is a lot of these products need to arrive at the job site on a specific time because that's when, the plumber is there to install it. It's not like, ordering a t-shirt and wanting it for the weekend and it doesn't come, oh shucks, I didn't get to wear that t-shirt. When our logistics is delayed and isn't accurate, it causes a lot of angry people, and they bear a significant amount of cost increase from having those people there. So for us, the delivery challenge on making sure that it arrives on time, or not even on time, it just arrives when we say it's going to arrive, is really important. And then as far as the facilitating of returns, like I touched on earlier, depending on the nature of a return, if a large product is broken in transit, often we'll just field scrape it and just make it right for the customer by sending another out to them. But if the product is fully intact and there isn't really any reason, not to accept it back, we do route our return carrier decisioning through Convey's intelligent fulfillment platform as well, which is a use case that we didn't really think about when we first started the partnership. We thought it would just be purely outgoing stuff, but it's kind of found a nice little supplemental niche in the return stuff as well.
Yeah. And then my final question, Marshall, you kind of touched on some of the internal and benefits. Just overall, if you were going to kind of list out some of the business benefits that Build.com has realized, and then this is and hopes to realize going forward from using this new intelligent fulfillment platform from Convey.
Yeah, I mean, my CFO would kill me if I didn't start out by mentioning the cost saving carrier selection. Aside from that, though, an understated benefit, I think, is the data and analytics that we get from all these different carriers. Looking at how the decisioning is happening at a higher level view instead of how it's happening on an individual carrier level. It's just kind of brought some interesting discussions and data points to the table that we just lacked visibility on before because we had too many partners. And then one other piece I think too is working with all these various dropship companies and warehouses that we don't directly control. It's definitely seemed like a breath of fresh air for them when we can tell them, hey, we're going to take the thinking out of your hands. You don't have to do anything except just log in and print this thing out. And that's a lot better than maintaining routing guides, updating routing guides, making sure that they're educated and using them, stuff like that. So it's really just streamlined the whole process from beginning to end. Yeah,
it makes the process easier and adding a benefit to the bottom line, as you mentioned. So it seems like a win-win. Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Marshal Downey of Build.com for his time. Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on iTunes and Stitcher. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. Lastly, please follow us on Twitter at MyTotalRetail or on Facebook at facebook.com/MyTotalRetail. Thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks.